So guys, we're going to get into the review of Evolution New World. Now, if you want to see the full playthrough, if you're watching the video that's just the review, the full playthrough, the link is going to be in the description below. Definitely click on that. And also, guys, remember, the Kickstarter link is also in the description, okay? Now, let's get into some positives about this game before we get... So what do you like? Positives first, constructive criticisms next. And, yeah, we can just go... We can go back and forth on this thing, toggle a little bit, if you will.
Let's toggle.
We can toggle. So we'll start off with things that we really liked about this game, or just liked about the game.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. So the first thing about this game, and this is going to make you a little bit upset.
Because you're going to say what I always say.
You start off. You start off.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
It'll stretch me.
I will say this about all the Evolution games. The ones that I'm familiar with is that second one, the 2014 version of Evolution that has those bright, beautiful pastel. It's just pure art, man. It is beautiful graphic art, and this game is no disappointment to that. Like it holds that, sets that. Like the Evolution series has set a very high bar as far as art is concerned. And when you look at these cards, like you don't even care that you're being eaten alive by other animals.
Still care.
I cared too, but you know what I mean. It takes the sting a little bit away because you can look at these beautiful, I mean, absolutely gorgeous cards, guys. I'll probably put better pictures of these cards up there, guys. But like the jungles with the parrots and everything, and it just looks like a still image with a fast shutter speed, doesn't it? Isn't that what that is?
That's a slow shutter speed.
It's very slow shutter speed, guys. It is I'm trying to get into photography a little bit. Obviously I have a long way to go, but anyway, these cards are incredible. Every environment is very, very just beautifully done. I love the amount of detail that was put into these, and even guys, even like your basic little animal, this little lizard right here, looks great.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It looks like it was almost hand drawn with some kind of, I mean, like
He probably was.
it looks like it was hand drawn. It looks very, very beautiful. I just love the art, man. It's very detailed, very intricate. Even the player aids, man. Even the player aids, these things are beautiful. You know, the rule book has just examples throughout, and all these little like animals and stuff. It's just everything about this game shouts gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, guys. So that is something that
is this as vibrant as the two.
So I think
it's
just a different art style. I think the other art style, like the 2014 version, was just very. There's a lot of like pastels. This is way more realistic.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I do love the realism in this, and I think that has, you know, some great is a very great aspect of the game. So
I think my favorite card is the transparent card.
The transparent's beautiful. We didn't even use it.
But
it is beautiful though. Yes.
That one.
Anyway, what'd you like about this game?
I liked, because we played last night and it was such a different game than this game. I really got a feel for, which we always talk about, the variability.
Yep.
I mean, it is completely different.
Completely
different. Like last night I had a whole ecosystem going. I was thriving. He had like one guy. He couldn't even attack any of my dudes.
I was completely on defense the entire game.
Like I would have blasted him out of the water yesterday.
Yeah. You did.
Actually,
there was a point where I I was like, I'm done. This is like the third round in. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do here. And then the environment ended up taking you out.
Yeah, the environment took one of my big guys.
Yep. It took out two paired traits as well.
Yeah.
So it was like just destroyed her. Completely fell apart.
It did. But I mean, and then this one I just ended with one guy, which felt horrible. But then I ended up winning.
She won. That's wild, bro.
I mean, I didn't even know that was gonna happen. Like I said early on in the playthrough, if you didn't see it, I said, I'm going to lose this game.
Yeah.
And then I ended up winning with just one person. So I just love you don't know the end until you get there. And
you really don't.
That's really fun for me.
Yeah, and it really does. This game, number one, like I love that the variety in this game. So for me, replayability and variability is, and we talk about this all the time, is so incredibly important. Now what I've realized is that what needs to be different in a game is setup. The setup needs to be different. It's not necessarily the amount of cards, because to be honest, you know, if you look at these traits, there's like 26 of these traits, I believe, the main ones, and there's only 6 of these short traits, right? And those cards are all like, there's just different combinations of those like traits or whatever, but they're all just those traits. In the environment, there's only, you know, a handful of environments, but just with that alone, the setup is so much different every time, and the cards you draw are so dynamically different that you don't even like. this game will never, ever be the same.
Right.
You will always be doing different things. And another thing is that the reason that the variability is great in this game is because whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, I have to adapt to.
Right.
It's adaptation that makes this game so variable. And like, she could play completely... She doesn't have to attack me. Like, there's instances where she's actually forced to, but a lot of times she doesn't even have to. And that means that she could be playing a totally different game, and I'm like, okay, let me just build my guys up over here to just be very, like, to get me a ton of points, a lot of traits. But she was always trying to attack, and I saw her building up that carnivore, and I was like, this is a game where you have to look at what your opponent's doing and adapt to the situation, which is what this whole game is, right? It's adaptation, evolution, and you feel that in this game. You feel like the forced adaptation in like this environment. It's crazy.
And the player interaction you saw
it's amazing.
Is obviously, I mean, this isn't just
it's not always healthy.
It wasn't super healthy,
but
especially for him.
But the fact that, you know what, I'd rather have like, I don't want to say unhealthy player. I'd rather have like a little bit of aggressive player interaction than nothing at all.
We're actually celebrating our anniversary today, so
yeah.
It's good that it didn't take us out. It didn't get too...
Any other day, I don't know what would happen.
Too triggered.
I can't get too triggered. But anyway. So yeah, that's an incredible thing. And I love also that, guys, like, seriously, there's some games where like the theme, you can't really feel the theme. You don't really see the story that the designer has in his mind. This one is like, you see this animal that you're like, okay, this dude has like the traits will be like, some kind of defensive trait, and be like, okay, this thing could be like an animal, like a huge animal, high body weight. I'm thinking hippo, elephant, something like that, has like, you know, a lot of meat on it. It's nocturnal. Then you're like, oh, what is this animal? You picture this like beast that you're creating, or this little...
Very imaginative.
It's very imaginative.
It brings your imagination to life while you play it, because you've got images going on in your head of what you're actually creating. Exactly.
And like the ecosystems and stuff, like you're looking at the jungles and lakes and it's like you have this entire imaginative thing happening. And all you see, like, from the audience perspective, you just see a bunch of cards. But it's like, in your mind, there's just a crazy world being unfolded and created.
And I love the fact that you don't put down a type of animal. So, like, all of them look the same. Yeah. So, you actually... That allows you to imagine what you're actually creating instead of going off of, like, okay, well, I've got this leopard here, and I'm making him, like, fins and everything so that he can swim. You know, you don't have anything to reference what you're actually creating and imagining in your mind.
It's really cool, man. It's really cool. And like when I put the parasite, I was like, dude, I just feel like this is just, again, it's like heartworms. You know what I mean? It's like
I believe you called it a tapeworm.
Oh, like a tapeworm or whatever. Like you can picture, like, as gross as that is, it just feel like you see this animal and I'm like, I know what I've done here. It's just, there's like nothing abstract. It's just very like...
That parasite is one of the happiest parasites, though, because it's a high body weight animal with a lot of fat tissue.
That dude is not going anywhere.
That guy is just...
He's not going
having
anywhere.
The time of his life.
Yeah. It's really cool. I do love the interaction of the traits. I think they balance this game very, very well with the way traits are, like, it's so thematic. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, you have to have sharp vision to see through camouflage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have all these paired traits. It makes sense that, like, the way they did this is exactly what you would picture. You know what I mean? Like, this guy had more traits, which is like the hippo or whatever, and this guy has nothing, but he's paired with this. He's partnered. Nobody's gonna get to these little gulls or seagulls or whatever these things are, egrets or something.
Okay, yeah,
I'm just gonna keep saying birds until you're impressed.
Okay.
And they're not gonna get to him because they got a big boy, the bouncer, right in the middle. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, kingpin.
So, all kingpin right there. So it's cool how all those traits are very balanced. I don't feel like there's one trait that is better or worse than another. They're just, it's all about how you use them effectively. Yeah, I think they're all very good. I think those adverse effects, these adverse ones right here, are just, they add a lot to the game. The way I look at this game, guys, and the reason it's very different and unique is that a lot of games are strategic. For me, this game is tactical. This game feels like a game of chess for people who don't know how to play chess. You know what I mean? Like, you move your pawn up. Like, I would, like, if I saw her move a pawn, I'd be like, you know what? Fine. I'll move it up too. I don't know what I'm doing. I can only see like one turn ahead in chess. And that's like, this game feels like a game of chess where you're just reacting to what the other person is doing. It's very, you can't plan super high strategy because they can kill you in a minute.
Right.
But you have to constantly react. And I love that little chess game, like tactical fist fight feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't put all of your eggs in one basket.
You can't.
You have to diversify all throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, so she can add cards to her thing, and I'm like, all right, now I gotta adapt my guys to this. I wanted to use this card for high fat tissue, but now I have to use it for nocturnal or swimming.
Right.
So sick, man. Really, really dynamic, intense game where there's no slow parts.
Yeah.
No slow parts, tons of variability. One last thing that I loved about this game is that the setup took literally.
I was gonna mention that. The setup's super easy. Sorry, go ahead.
No, mention it. Seriously, that's something you can say.
Oh, I was just talking what he said. The setup's super easy. And this is another game that you can take anywhere. It's just
portability, baby. I was going to say that too. Portability.
It's mobile. You can take it anywhere.
Jeez, it's just cards.
Yeah, it's just cards and cubes. And yeah. And once you've played a long time, you don't need the player aids because you know what you're doing. So, yeah. And for me, this is another one that you can introduce ladies to.
But
you could take this game anywhere, you know, if you had a date and he's not all about taking games to like restaurants and stuff. But
I haven't gotten there quite yet.
Little cafes. This is a good cafe game, I feel like.
Yeah.
So.
I just feel like when you take like a movie, it's better than a movie because you get to talk and interact, right? But going to dinner, I just want to enjoy. First of all, I'm not trying to get grease. I don't eat greasy food, really.
You can sleeve these.
You can sleeve them, but I'm not trying to get all the I wouldn't be able to enjoy my meal noticing some soy sauce.
You don't have to go to like a restaurant.
Oh yeah, if you went to like a cafe, that's different.
Like a coffee shop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's much different.
This is a good coffee shop.
It's called a coffee shop game. Yep, looks good. And so anyway, guys, once again, a game review would not be a game review without a little constructive criticism. Now, is there anything that you particularly didn't love about the game itself, just on your own opinion?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's really a con about the game. I don't necessarily like how quickly it can change. Like you build it all up and they can just take a guy out, and that is just
it's very frustrating.
Super frustrating.
The thing about it is, guys, is that like again, it's very reactive. So if you have not there was a time where I had 3 cards left and I was like, I'm gonna die. Yeah. Like I know I'm gonna die. She's going to get, because I have no defensive qualities left. And I think it's my fault. It's not the game's fault. And again, like she had this huge dude at first. Yeah. And with all these traits, and the environment took her out. No food. He is completely dead. There is no redemption, right? Like he doesn't, he's gone.
Like he
starves.
I think that there's more luck in this game than strategy. It all depends on what you pull out. It all depends.
That probably feels like it though, because we're not very good at it.
Right. We're really
we've only played a couple times, but it does feel, the cards drawn do feel very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, it's very tactical. And so like when you're like, we're used to strategy games where you have this overreaching plan where somebody can only get in your way so much.
Yeah.
This game is tactical, a tactical street fight.
That's true.
Where you are, and guys, one thing that we want to say is that like there are certain games that feel bad to be cutthroat.
Right.
There's certain games that are intended to kind of have cutthroat aspects, and you can just destroy what the other person's doing for whatever weird pleasure you get out of it. This game is not that. This game is, you have to bring your mindset, because we are never aggressive in games, really. We decide not to be. You have to get in this mindset with games like this, that it's like a game of chess.
Right.
Chess is a game we would play, right?
Yeah,
but is there any game more cutthroat than chess?
Probably not,
right? So that's the mindset you have to get in, is like, it's like a very tactical game of who can outwit the other person with their cards. Like, it's not about the fact that I want to hurt her. It's that I have to, because this is a game about survival of the fittest in an evolutionary world where if you don't adapt, you die. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing here. And I think we played it to that extent of that theme. And I think that's great.
And that made it more exciting for me too, because I don't play like that. So this was more like, I'm not super competitive. Like I like to win, but I don't necessarily have to. I won't do whatever it takes to get there. That's not how I play. But in this game, it was very competitive, and that brought like a different excitement for me because it's not how I normally play. So this is a completely different game than what I'm used to, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I completely agree with all of that.
And it'll be more like the more I play it, the more I'm used to dying and getting eaten.
It's like, oh, whoops.
It'll be more lighthearted, and
it's a game where you have to blame yourself, not the other person, really, because you're like, oh, my animal was just not armored.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, whoops.
I didn't build him correctly.
And the way this is cool is because it seems like what would take years to develop and stuff is happening in a minute. So when you think, oh, my animal just died, what you have to think to yourself is this is probably representing years and decades of like this adaptation and stuff.
Right.
And like your animal didn't just die. It it's showing you that after all these years, you didn't develop enough to be that. So you're going to die. So again, just change your mindset and that negative will turn into a positive. It's not really cutthroat. It's just how the theme is.
Yeah.
Anything else that you didn't necessarily love?
No, I really liked the game.
Yeah.
Even though it's not something that I'm super used to, but I'm glad that we have it in our arsenal now, you know.
Yeah. It's just different. It's just so different. It's like a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's a different way of thinking.
Yeah, when I'm feeling a little squirrely, I'm going to be like, maybe we need to play this game.
Yeah.
You know? Take out some aggression that I can't take out, you know?
Yeah. So we have 3 kids, so you can see the way she played. She needed this, guys. She needed this badly. And now we can have a great night. Yeah. So it's really cool, guys. There's just the way they did
Took the edge off.
It did take the edge off a little bit. Well, for one of us, I'm a little bit more. I started off fine. Now I'm a little messed up.
No, you were triggered from like the first.
Yeah, that is true.
Or second epoch epic.
So, guys, the one last thing that I'll say that was like, it's not really a criticism. It's more of like something that I realized is like, it could be very challenging. Is this I wouldn't say there's a runaway leader, because every time I felt like there was a runaway, the environment would kill her. I wouldn't be able to kill her. I couldn't do anything. But there is a point in this game. There's this like climactic moment where you feel like, oh my golly, like I have one animal here. I get to draw one animal plus 2 cards, which is 3, to try to just build up this guy, or he's gonna die. And then she has like 4 cards surviving, so she gets to draw like 7 additional cards to that and build up this massive train of animals. But the catch is that the environment, thank God that they put that in here. The environment only has so much food. So if you have too many animals, takes her out. But I had that moment where I was like, oh no, is this really how this game is going to be?
Yeah.
But it's actually way harder to make a lot of like crazy animals than you would think. So.
And the partnership or the cooperation cards, you strategize based on your partnership or your cooperation. Like I would have this so that I could gain the most food for this guy just passively. Mm-hmm. And then one of these guys dies. And now my strategy to make sure that this guy has enough food source is now gone.
Yep.
And if this guy goes, then that's 2 food sources that I was relying on that now I have to try and make up for. So
crazy.
It's really well done.
Yeah,
it's
really
very
well done. Guys, so I think we've if you don't know how you feel about this game by now, then I don't know what to tell you. So guys, to finalize this review, Evolution New World is an absolutely gorgeous, highly thematic game that makes you feel completely enveloped in this ecosystem that you're creating. You're constantly having to adapt to this harsh environment. It's truly survival of the fittest. The unpredictability and the realism of this game creates a thrill that is always going to keep you coming back for more.
Once again, guys, the Kickstarter link is in the description below. Go and check it out.
Yes, definitely, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the energy, if you enjoyed just hanging out with us, please like and subscribe, and we will see you on our next game review. Thank you guys so much for watching.